Good morning and welcome to Mental Health Mondays, the first episode of my new show where I'm going to share bite-sized pieces of advice and information and strategies to help you support your mental health naturally. So today, a question for you, how much attention do you pay to how what you eat makes you feel? Do you notice what effect different foods have on your body and your mood and your energy? Something to think about. What we eat definitely has an impact on how we feel, and that's different for different people. It shows up in different ways, but that's what I'm going to talk about is 3 different ways that what you eat affects how you feel emotionally, physically, mentally, all of those different things. So first, I want to share a little bit of a story though. This is a story I share a lot, and it's about my daughter. When she was in kindergarten, her teacher was concerned. Her teacher called us up and said, "Hey, I'm concerned that your daughter, is not learning her letters very well. She's behind the other kids in the class." And at home, we were getting concerned as well because she just wasn't interested in going to school. In fact, she actively avoided it. She hid behind the bus stop. She'd hide in the closet. It was an effort to get her out the door and off to school in the mornings. So being that nutrition was my area of focus, and I know that what I eat affects how I feel, I decided, well, let's see what we can do. See if we can, see some improvements or changes if we look at what she eats. So I changed what we were feeding her for breakfast, and I changed what I packed for her lunches, and our dinners were already very much in line with what I can eat and what makes me feel good. And so they tend to be low in foods that are reactive and contribute to people not feeling well. So I didn't make much change for dinner because I felt we were already doing really well there. But breakfast and lunches, I made some adjustments too. And a couple of weeks later, my daughter, who was 5, came home and she was so excited. She's like, "Mom, I know all my letters. I don't need to look at the board anymore. And when I color, it stays in the lines." So here's a 5-year-old who had already noticed that something was different, that suddenly she could do things that she hadn't been able to do. And the only noticeable difference, the only thing we changed is what we ate. Of course, we didn't tell her that, but we were able to observe those differences as well. So what you do eat affects how you feel. It affects your energy, it affects your mood, it affects how you feel in the world. But let's break that down a little bit more because, we sometimes need to understand how things work and why they work before they make sense to us in that way. So what we eat affects how we feel physically. Think about your digestion. If you've eaten something that's really fatty or really rich and you've eaten too much, you're going to feel it. Your stomach's not going to feel well. If you've eaten some things that are really salty and haven't had enough water, you're going to be thirsty, and it might make you a headache, might make you feel uncomfortable. For sure, you notice those kind of things. So what we eat affects how we feel in that the food that we eat, our digestive system has to break it down. And if our digestive system is not working effectively, or if it's something that our digestive system can't handle, it's going to affect us. We're going to get stomach cramps or feel gassy or bloated. You know what? Those are not normal things. That's not how your body is supposed to act. So those are signs that something is not working the way it should. So if you are eating things and it leaves your stomach feeling upset, leaves you feel gassy or bloated, gives you constipation, diarrhea, that means something's not working. Those are not the way your body is designed to function. So then you need to kind of look at what you're eating and see if it's the food or if your digestive system needs some support. But what you eat can definitely affect how your digestive system reacts and how you feel physically because of that. A second way what you eat can affect how you feel is your energy. We've all had those days where our energy is up and down, highs and lows. We feel like we've got tons of energy and then it crashes. All of those can be affected by what you're eating. Starting out with a good breakfast can really affect your energy level throughout the whole day. And what you eat will determine whether your energy goes up and down, or whether it's kind of stable and consistent. Stable and consistent is easier to manage. It's easier to get through your day when you've got that good energy. Other way to think about it is, that mid-afternoon when you have no energy after you have your lunch, when you're tired and drowsy and can't get focused on anything, that can be a result of what you're eating for lunch. So if you can find foods that are going to be that consistent energy, you're not going to get that low after lunch that makes it hard to be productive. The third way what you eat can affect how you feel is when we look at our mental health and emotional health and well-being. The food that we put into our body affects our brain. It gets broken down by our digestive system. It gets turned into the building blocks, the molecules and chemicals that our body needs to create it and to maintain our body, and also to communicate through chemical reactions and through neurotransmitters and such. So what we eat determines whether we have the right blocks that we need to keep our body physically healthy and to support our emotional and mental health. One of the places people get stuck around this, I find, is that we have this aversion to eating fat. We think that fat is not good for our body, and the reality is our brains need fat to survive. That's a really important piece, and so making sure you eat the right healthy fats we talk about is really important. So making sure your diet has enough, maybe it's fish, nuts and seeds, coconut, those kind of things provide healthy fats that are really important for your brain health and provide essential nutrients that your body really needs to function. So looking at that can make a difference as well. So I've been sharing here a little bit of the, why it's important to pay attention to what you eat and why what you eat can affect how you feel. And if you're looking for more of the how, like, okay, so what do I eat? How do I do this? I'm busy, I have work, I have kids, there's a pandemic going on, there's lots of added stress and things going on in my life right now. How do I actually make it easier to eat well? What do I need to eat? What changes can I make that are going to affect how I feel? So if you're looking for those answers, which everybody needs, check out my Facebook page at Spark Wellness Nutrition on Facebook, and I will be sharing tips and strategies and such throughout the rest of the week to help you with that practical piece. So how do I use this? If I want to eat differently, to feel differently, what do I need to eat, and how can I make that possible in my own life? So I'm going to be back again next week for the second episode of Mental Health Mondays at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. In the meantime, as I said, check out my Facebook group at Spark Wellness Nutrition and watch for some strategies to help you eat differently so you can feel differently. In the meantime, take care and have a great week.